Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of my bike build, the Honda VFR400 NC30 build. So I received the bike this weekend, so this is the first time that I'm really going to be looking at the bike. I received it on Saturday, but Saturday also it's on Sunday, but Sunday we had guests and stuff, so it was a busy day. So the bike arrived literally sort of 10 minutes before people started arriving, so I had time to have a quick look at it, which is what I filmed. I haven't really had a chance to look at it ever since, so it's been about 2-3 days, I think 2 days now. So I'm out in the garage. It's in the evening, which is going to be my only way of being able to do this. So I'm gonna now go over a couple of bits. I've actually ordered a couple of parts. I had ordered a couple of parts have actually come. A few bits I want to show you guys as well. And thanks for all the advice so far. Loads of you have put so many tips on there already, so I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot that's going to help me to get through this build. So yeah, let's just have a quick look at the bike again. All right guys, so here is the bike. So I've got my lights on, obviously. So there's a couple of things I want to mention. So this bike, seems that it was being broken down for parts. I managed to buy it sort of with an option with as it was now, so a couple of parts had already gone, so I managed to get it sort of right at this point before it was completely broken. I actually have ordered the clocks from the seller because they had already taken the clocks off and they had already put them for sale. So I managed to get the original clocks, which was important for me. It's got the original mileage. I've seen the photo of the clocks and it pretty much marries up with the MOT documents that we looked at as well. So I think the clocks are about 18,500, and I think the last MOT was sort of 17,900 and something. So that last year of use, it looks like there was about 600 miles used that year, which is 2021. So which is 2 years ago. So since then it's been off the road. Now I don't know why it's been off the road, so I'm going to do some investigations. The most important thing for me really, as far as the condition, is the engine, obviously. So I've ordered a couple of bits. So this someone did mention, and I think I mentioned it in the last video as well, I figured out that this was the choke. I've ordered a new choke, so that's coming. So we've got that part coming. I've ordered the clocks, obviously, as I said. The rear brake calipers, which we've got already on there, I've ordered a reseal kit. And what the other things were that I ordered. A couple of bits in. Oh yeah, there we go. So I've got a reseal kit to rebuild those calipers, take the calipers apart. I'm going to repaint them as well in black, and also got some pads as well. So that's for the back brakes. We don't have front calipers yet, so I need to get a set of front calipers. That's another thing I need to get. There's loads of bits here and there that I've ordered. I can't even remember what they are, but they're all going to start coming in during the week. Oh, also got a battery as well, so we have a battery when we're ready to try and fire it up. Now, one of the things that I'm going to have to find out, I'm going to have to look through the manual and try and look for some information, is what I noticed is that this is a V4 engine, so it's sort of like imagine like a V shape, like a V8 engine would be. So it's got it's 4 cylinders. So you got 2 cylinders on that side, you got 2 cylinders on that side. So this controls the spark leads to the cylinders. So we've got 2 cylinders in here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. You can see them here. So we've got a spark plug in there, and then we've got another one here. Now the other 2 spark plugs are over here. The spark plugs are actually in there. If I can get in there, you guys can see. So we've got one down in there, and then we've got another one down in there. So obviously there's 2 leads that need to be there. I've seen some videos where I've been trying to catch a glimpse of where this stuff is connected. So there's another unit like this somewhere over here that sits on the rear subframe, which is another thing I need to order. But I got to figure out where it's connected. So you can see this is connected here. So we got to figure out how and where the other one is connected to electrically. So that is something that I'm gonna need some help with figuring out. what I want to do is, as I said, what I'm really concerned about is the engine. So I want to turn the engine manually. So I'm gonna have to figure that out, how and where I turn the engine manually. Sorry guys, sounds like there's a party out there somewhere. So I got to figure out where I can turn the engine, just to make sure the engine turns and that it's not seized or anything like that. So that is the next thing that I'm going to be trying to do. Oh, another thing I managed to get as well, which I've ordered, is a set of keys, key locks. So I've got the keys with a new lock here, new key lock. Also, I get the lock for the fuel tank, and also the lock for the storage under the seat. So that will sort out our issue as far as starting the vehicle when we're ready. Also, I had to order these special bolts to get this nut off, and also the smaller one are there. So I've got those 2 bolts coming, because I'm going to need those to take this swing arm off, and also to remove the engine. It's a special bolt, so that's on its way. So I'm just looking at the Haynes manual, which is what I'm going to be referring to quite a lot, trying to figure this stuff out. And I've seen here where they have inspections, servicing. So it says remove the timing inspection cover, turn the engine clockwise using a 14mm socket on the starter clutch bolt. So that is basically that bolt here. So I believe that's the bolt that we need to use to turn the engine. So I'm going to get a 14mm socket, and let's see if this will turn. All right, so the first thing you got to do is 17 bolt and take this cover off. All right, I've got the cover off. And are we supposed to have oil in here? I'm not sure. Right, so this is the 14mm bolt that we need to turn. So we need to turn it clockwise. So let's try that. So I've taken the cover off. So it's empty in here. I don't know if this is supposed to be full of oil. I did remember when I checked the oil, it was really low. So I'm not sure whether there's supposed to be oil in here, because there's a little oil around here, but I'm not sure if this is supposed to be full of oil. So I'm gonna have to check the book again, but you can see there's some oil in here. It does mention in the manual that you need to replace this rubber ring when you take it off. So I'm assuming oil will leak from here. Or somebody let me know what you guys think about that. So we're ready to turn this. Let's see if this turns. 14mm nut is what you need. And I can hear the valves releasing air. You guys might be able to hear that. Alright, so our engine is turning. But that is a result. Engine is turning, so I'm happy to hear that. So yeah, I'll put this back on for now. Make sure nothing gets in there. So next thing I'm going to do is check on this oil level, because it did seem low. I'm not sure why it was so low, but yeah, we need to check that as well. Obviously I'm going to have to do compression tests on the cylinders. I don't actually have a compression gauge, so I'm going to have to get one of those. So I'll get one of those in a week so that I can do the compression test on all these. Obviously I've got a battery now, so I'll be able to, you know, run the starter. Hopefully the starter motor works. Our starter motor is under here, so hopefully it works. Let me just check all the wiring and everything to see if we can actually get some power out of it. Obviously I've got the keys coming, so that's going to help. Otherwise I can just bypass the battery on the starter and try to do a compression test. So guys, I'm still trying to just alleviate my concerns about why this engine, or why this bike was stripped for parts. So I'm really trying to get past all the major things that could go wrong, especially the engine. So far the engine turns, it's not seized, which is one good sign. So I've checked on the oil, the book says about the oil levels. When you unscrew the dipstick, you unscrew it and you pull it out, you give it a wipe. when you put it in to test the oil, you're not supposed to screw it back down. You're supposed to just dip it in and you should get the reading. Now I dip it in and it's not touching anything, it's dry, so there's no oil in this engine. So obviously it's not seized, so that's a good sign, but I don't know, it's really low. So we need to figure out why that is, or what's going on here. But one thing we can that tells some signs is checking the spark plugs. So that's what I'm going to do next, try and see if I've got a spark plug bit there. I'm not sure if I've got the right one. I can get spark plugs out and check them. There's no radiator system in here, so there's no coolant that I could check to see if maybe there was oil mixing with the coolant, if there was overheating or anything like that. So I'm not able to do that because there's no radiators and everything's dry. But what I can do is see if I can check the spark plugs and hopefully get some telltale signs from that. So this is what the book says about condition charts. So this is what we're looking for: normal condition for the spark plugs. We are not looking for this overheating. So it says blistered white insulator and glazed electrodes caused by ignition system fault, incorrect fuel or cooling system fault. So I'm hoping that we're not going to see this. And then there's all other issues to do with oily ones, of oil passing the valves and stuff like that. So all the piston rings. So let's see, hopefully they're going to look like this. Alright guys, so I've taken the first spark plug out and it does look oily to me. This is what it looks like. Let's see if I can zoom into it actually. It does look like that. So at least it doesn't look like overheating, but it sure does look like oil fouling. So according to this, possibilities are an oil leakage past the piston rings or valve guides in a 4-stroke engine, which this is. So you engine guys, what do you think the likelihood of this is? Obviously this is just the first one. I'm going to take the other two out, the other three out, and see if they all look the same or if there's any differences. This is what I come up with. So these two are from the front, which do have some oil as well. It's not as bad, I don't think, although this one's got a lot of oil around here. This one is probably the driest one, but then again it has some oil around the bottom here. And then these two are pretty much the same. So it looks like all of our plugs have oil on them. So guys, what does that mean? What am I looking at with this engine? Are we looking like an engine rebuild, new piston rings and all that stuff? Or could it be a valve? I don't know, and the valve issues, letting oil into the engine. I don't know. But if it's on every single one of them, that says to me that there's oil getting into every cylinder. Yeah, I need you guys' help on this one. So obviously next up is a compression test. I'm gonna have to test all of these cylinders to make sure we've got compression. That will tell us really a lot. So if we have bad compression, then we might need to look into valves, or what could else could there be, piston rings maybe. So yeah, next up is to get a compression tester so that we can do some compression tests on the engine. So that's as much as I can do with the engine for now. As I said, if you guys have any suggestions or any ideas of where to move forward on that, please let me know, and then I can get back onto the engine side of things. Okay guys, so anticipation for doing this compression test, I'm trying to figure out, as I mentioned, about the front coils, where that connects to, and how I'm going to be able to connect a battery to this, because I've only found this terminal here, which to me looks like it's the negative terminal. So on inspection, I found that someone has cut and butchered the loom I'm absolutely gutted about that. I really thought I had a full loom here, because there's some wires that's supposed to be on that side over there. So somebody's just hacked that off. So it means I have to now look for a wire and loom for this. So that's another part that I need to get. But not the end of the world. At least I've got this one in, and I can see where everything connects to or where it's all run. So putting a new one in should be a lot easier. We just need to figure out where this part goes. I think it goes round to there somewhere on the other side. And I think the positive terminal on the battery, I think, is in one of these as well. I think. I could be wrong, but I'm literally just trying to figure it out now. So unfortunately, there's another part I need to get. I'm going to be looking on eBay tonight to see if I can get a wiring loom for this. All right, so I was looking for where the rear cylinder coils were. So we've got the front one, which is here. So we have that one here, and that's connected, and that's to the two front spark plugs. The rear one is supposed to be connected or bolted onto the subframe, which is literally right somewhere around here. When the subframe's on here, it should be bolted to it here. And this is actually the loom here. So the loom's supposed to come, wrap around here, and then two cables go into that coil, and then the two coils go into those two cylinders here. So that's why I couldn't figure out what's missing. So this is where they've cut it off. But there's a lot more than two wires in there. There's a lot of wires in there. So there's obviously lots of other stuff that's fed from that. Probably all the rear brake lights, the indicators, number plate light, probably all that stuff at the back is connected to this loom here. So it just makes more sense to just get a complete loom. So yeah, we're just gonna have to change that. So at least I know where the rear coils go. So I'll be getting one of these as well, and as well as the loom at the same time, so that we can get these things connected up electrically. All right, guys, so looking in the Haynes manual, they actually have a schematic, which is really well labeled. I love a schematic. Really good for electrical fault finding. It makes it really easy. And it's really well labeled, as you can see there. You've got the colors of the cables. For instance, you can see here high beam. So you've got a blue cable, black and red, white and blue, and a green. So you can literally trace cables. You can fault find really easily when you've got a schematic. So I can use this when I'm definitely to connect up, find all these bits where they need connecting. I mean, I could use this to repair the harness even, to be honest, but I'm not going to bother. It's just too much work. But at least I've got this now. For instance, so you can see our two ignition coils here that go to our 4 cylinders. So I can figure out where they all go. So there's one of the parts I need to get, the ignition control unit. I need to order one of these. So I'm going to be looking for one of these as well tonight. But I'm just going through the bike electrically to see what parts are actually missing electrically. And I know the ignition control unit is one, as well as I need an ignition coil for the rear coils as well. So I'm going to get that. Anything else, I shall let you guys know. All right, guys, last thing I'm going to do for the night, I will just really want to know what's going on with this oil situation. So I've got a little tray at the bottom. I'm going to open the drain at the bottom, and I'm going to drain out the oil, or let's see if there's anything in it, because I said the dipstick was beyond low. So let's just see if we get anything out of this engine. Okay, so we do have oil. At least we've got oil in here. State of the oil might be another story, but it looks like we've got quite a bit of oil in there actually. A lot more than I was expecting. Looks like this might even overflow. Definitely needed oil change though. I better stop it here. This is a lot more oil than I expected to see. Okay, I feel a little bit better now. Alright guys, so this is what the oil looks like. It's kind of hard to see, but does not look in good condition. Quite black. Although it is dark, I'll see what it looks like in the morning, in daylight. It is kind of hard to see, but there's a lot of oil in there and it was still going, so I really thought it was going to be dry, so it's a lot better than I thought. So as I was recording, I literally just got a message from the person I bought the bike from, and they have dispatched the clocks for me, so happy about that. So it looks like we've got the clocks coming. So yeah, so today was just investigation day again. I'm just literally just going over this bike. I'm trying to understand how everything works. I'm trying to figure out what parts are on the bike, because I have no idea what parts should be here. I definitely know that I need the rear subframe, because a lot of parts are connected to that frame, including the electrics and stuff. So that's something I'm gonna be looking to get. So what do we figure out? We need a wiring harness. We need to investigate the cylinders and why we've got oil on the spark plugs. We need to do a compression test. I need to get a couple of things, like the cylinder coils and the ignition control unit, as I said, and the wiring harness. Those are probably the main things that I need to get right now. So I'm going to be out. So I'm going to go online now and see if I can find some of these parts, because these are going to hold me up from moving forward. So what I think I'm going to do moving forward is try to see if we can get this bike started. If we can get the bike started, then from there we go back to stripping it and then eventually put it back together. So yeah, a lot of electrics to figure out. But electrics is, fortunate for me, electronics is a strong point, I think, for me, and it's something I enjoy doing. I love fault finding, so I'm confident that I will figure it all out and we will get it working electrically. It's just mechanically that concerns me, you know, especially with the engine. So well, anyway, let's leave it here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It may be entertaining for some of you who know a lot more than I do, but yeah, that's it for me tonight. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.